Crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I'm going to do a live video for you today. I'm going to be creating a card very similar to this one using Fawn and Gilding Flakes. My main focus today is going to be showing you how to use Gilding Flakes, and I'm going to be doing this as a live video, as I said, because I'm running a little bit short on time, and it's a lot faster to not have to edit the footage and go back and do the voiceover and all that. So to work with Gilding Flakes, I'm going to work with Gilding Flakes through a stencil. I'm going to use Cosmic Shimmer Flake and Glitter Glue and Comic Shimmer Gilding Flakes. There may be other glues out there, but I've used this one in the past. I've been happy with it, and I know where I can find more of it and link you to it. So that's why I'm going to be featuring this one today. I'm putting it on a makeup sponge, and then I am going to just tap it through the stencil. This card is part of a video hop as a YouTube collaboration, and so I'll leave you some links to other YouTubers who are also making lawn fawn cards today. So like our collaboration is all about lawn fawn, and the theme for this month is friendship. So my card's going to have a bit of a friendship slant to it. As you can see, I'm just going for a nice thin layer, nothing too thick, not kind of rubbing it on like a paste or anything like that. And I'm not going to cover the whole card, although you certainly could. I actually want to leave some white spaces. I find it better not to add too much glue to your makeup sponge before tapping it down, just because it will absorb, the makeup sponge will absorb some of the glue, and you don't want to waste too much of it. You can get this in a large and small bottle though. And you have to wait for the glue to dry, but as you can see, it's drying up really quickly, and when it's dry, it becomes tacky. And that tackiness is what's going to let the Gilding Flakes stick to it. Now, I probably should be working on a completely clean surface, because there you can see maybe that there are some Gilding Flakes already coming into my project. We're just going to hope that this will work anyway. And you want to wash your stencil right away to get this tacky glue off of it, because if you don't wash it well, your stencil will become tacky, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you know, just I want you to be aware that the glue will dry right onto it. Okay, so I'm going to pause this, and then I'll come back to show you how to add the Gilding Flakes. In the time it took me to wash my stencil, the glue was dry and tacky to the touch, and I can go in and add my Cosmic Shimmer Gilding Flakes. And as you can see, this is a very messy technique. You're just going to dump a whole bunch of the glitter flakes Gilding Flakes right on top. And then you're going to press it into your design. When I lifted up the stencil, I realized that I hadn't covered quite as much area as I had the first time, and I kind of wish I'd covered more. I could have laid the stencil back down because it was taped, but I just didn't bother. I didn't want to mess it up at this point, because like I said, I had a little bit more of a hurry today. So first I'm going to start by pushing it in and then rubbing it off a little bit with my fingers, just to make sure that I'm pushing flakes into every sticky part of the design. And this is still going to look kind of messy, and you're not really going to see the full design yet, but there's a second step that will allow you to do that. So now I have quite a bit of the Gilding Flakes pushed into there, and then quite a bit left over, and all that's left over can go right back into the pot of Gilding Flakes. So while Gilding Flakes might seem initially like quite an investment, I think a pot is usually about $10 or so, you really can do a lot of projects with them, and compared to the price of a stamp set to, you know, get a technique, I really think that they're pretty good value, although you also have to buy the glue that works well with them. As far as I understand, tacky glue is not going to quite get you the same effect. Not saying you can't try it or you shouldn't try it, but just be prepared that it might not be the same. Okay, so put this back in the bottle. as much as I can, or the jar, I guess, is more what it is. And I've done several projects. I've done at least 5 cards with my Gilding Flakes. And as you can see, the jar basically still looks full. So next up, I'm going to take the Rub It Scrub It tool from Ranger. It comes in a really large sheet, but I just cut off a chunk. You can use it to clean your stamps, but I'm just going to use it to help rub off the Gilding Flakes. I know there are some other options out there, so you can look into that if you don't have the Rub It Scrub It, but I do know that this option is available at some big box stores like Hobby Lobby, which might be more accessible for some of you. All right, so as you can see, I'm rubbing kind of aggressively, actually. I don't really have to worry about rubbing too hard that it comes off. You can try to be a little bit more delicate if that's more comfortable for you, but even rubbing aggressively, it's nothing extra is coming off. I'm just getting the clean black lines in between. Then you'll want to, you can again put this back in the bottle, or you can toss it. I also recommend using a Swiffer tool to help you clean up, or even a simple large brush can help brush off your surface. Like I have this just from the dollar store large brush, and then I'll rub it off over the garbage can and get any of the extra bits off, and I'll be die cutting this and finishing off the card. I'm using the Fawn Ahoy Matey stamp set, and I'll be stamping the You're a Treasure sentiment. I think that's a great friendship sentiment, a good encouraging message for a friend. And I will be heat embossing it, but you could do the Gilding Flakes with your sentiment too. And I've done that before. I'll even link my other video about Gilding Flakes in case that's helpful. But you would basically just dab the glue onto your sentiment stamp, and you'd want to clean your stamp really well, just like you cleaned your stencil, because again, you don't want it to be sticky forever with that glue stuck on it. And I did use soap and water when cleaning my stencil and found that to be I usually just rinse my stencils with water, because if you're using Distress ink, it comes right off with water, but a little bit of soap definitely helped this time. I'll just use gold embossing powder just to make things a bit easier, but also embossing will add a bit of texture to it, whereas the Gilding Flakes are perfectly flat when you're done using them, where this will give a very slightly raised look. I am not going to show, sorry if this is a little bit loud, but I'll try to talk just a bit higher. If I'm not going to show the coloring of the Lawn Fawn stamps, again, because I just wanted to focus on how you could use the Gilding Flakes. I'm also entering this into the Lawn Fanatics challenge, because the challenge is to use a new technique. So while I've used Gilding Flakes before, I haven't used them with a stencil, and I really like the results. The stencil that I used, by the way, is from Neat and Tangled. I will link all products in the video description below. For a little bit of added interest, I just cut the end of my sentiment at an angle there, and then the other one I will cut straight. I want to give it a second to dry of sorts, because if you try to if you touch your embossing right after you do it and it's still warm, you can smear the embossing powder. But I want to add my little pirates that are all colored up. I colored up a lot of these when they came out as part of a Scrappin' for Less card kit, and I can also link that video if you'd like to see more ideas with this particular stamp set. But I have a tendency to color a whole bunch of images at once, and so I've had these pirates just kind of sitting there on my desk in a bowl with a bunch of other stamped images, and I thought this was the perfect opportunity to use them because pirates make sense with the gold Gilding Flakes that I used in the background. And I also colored in a few of the accessory images. I, again, like to do that in batches and not just color the main images, but also color the accessories, because then I can build cute little scenes really easily. I don't have to, go through and stamp just one more of anything. I adhered the little pirates with foam tape, but the little treasure elements I put down with just some regular adhesive. I like to use my Scotch ATG for pretty much everything just because it's super strong. It can be a little bit fussy to work with when you are using little tiny elements, but generally it works. If you aren't able to do that though, I recommend Multimedia Matte as a great adhesive. There's quite a few out there. I know Distress Collage Medium has been recommended more lately. All really strong glues. Okay, so I'm ready to add my sentiment, and then both of my cards are done. Like I said, this is part of a collaboration, so I will leave you links to the other people, and they will share videos also featuring Lawn Fawn and the theme of friendship, so you can get a lot of great ideas. And I'll leave you links to the products that I used, including especially the Gilding Flakes and the glue there, so you can give that technique a try, and the Lawn Fanatics Challenge. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in more crafting tutorials, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!